All right. Nice. Okay. Looks like everything's connected and going. So, hello everyone and welcome. This is Sentient Cloud. I'm changing a few things here because I sort of realized that my intent to fix the terminal editor, while in principle it's good to fix the software that you write, the whole intention behind this was to produce a graphical text editor. And the previous iteration, the editor written in Lua, and I guess even technically the one written in Bash, but I never really used that one for anything. It had its own structural problems, so um, it just ended up going away. The one that was written in Lua had a significant number of bugs and a lot of weird problems that were just a limitation of its construction and its purpose. And thinking about it now, going back and rewriting and refactoring the old editor, especially when the problems are not quite so terrible and impossible to deal with that I just I can't work with it, seems to me to be a bit of a waste of time and sort of a misuse of the whole purpose of this, which was to start from the ground up in a terminal and produce a graphical text editor with all the or most of the niceties of modern text editing. So, with that all said, I'm going to get started on the graphical text editor. This project will probably end up going a little bit slower, at least initially, just due to some things like outside of the project. But with all that said, let's just get into it. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm not gonna worry about it yet. Anyway, so let's go ahead and make a couple files here. And you'll notice I'm writing this in C rather than C++. I kind of decided to do that just recently. So, all right, and let's go ahead and open this up here. Get some header guards. Okay, let's make this. Okay, and let's see, what first do I want? What do I want first? So I'm gonna just go through some of the things that I need for this. I don't know if I need a frame counter. Might be worth putting in here, but I don't think I need that yet. Let me just put this into comment block. Okay, so we need a window. We need a renderer, and that's going to take in information like information about primitives, I guess, and then render that. That means that I'm going to need something that will contain sort of the layout of the graphics. So I guess UI layout. So let's see. And I also need to be able to handle inputs. That's probably going to be Okay, so here's an interesting thought. I'm not totally sure. I've kind of been waffling on whether or not I want to go through the effort of writing my own window layer and, engaging with APIs like X11, or I guess Xlib or XCB or whatever, and like Win32 and whatnot. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to do that or if I want to just use something like GLFW, which is pretty well put together and works well with OpenGL. I'm kind of leaning towards using GLFW, at least initially, and then I'll deal with actually making my own version later. It certainly saves me some trouble. So I think I'll do that. So I'm just going to go through here, GLFW, renderer will be OpenGL. I might look into Vulkan, but I don't think I will for now, at least. Mainly because it's just such a massive undertaking to do that, and I'm already putting a lot of things on my plate with this. So OpenGL is already complicated enough. I'll just go with, I think, 3.3 probably. I don't know, I might do a later one. I think 3.3 will be fine for now. UI layout, that's something I'm going to have to figure out myself, so I'm going to roll that. And let's go ahead and make sure we include glue at the moment. Again, I might use something else later, but glue is pretty easy to get going, and I've got it on my machine, and it's pretty common. So, all right, what else? So for the moment, I'm going to use a gap buffer for the text buffering. And I'm using a gap buffer because I already know how to write that. It's fairly fast, and for small scale editing, it's not going to suffer. In fact, I would say it probably would work better than any sort of tree-based solution that I'm thinking of. And that I'm including like ropes, I'm including piece trees in that, I'm including all sorts of different things. But like those require a lot of clever algorithms and things to work properly. And I'm not really that clever, so I'm going to leave that for a later date. I'm just going to make a sort of an interface that the text buffer works from, and then that will, if I want to replace it with something else later, I can. Okay. What else? I'm not going to worry about multi-threading to start with, but it's definitely something I'm going to have to keep in mind. And I don't know if that's something that I'll need to really make a lot of structural changes for. We'll just have to wait and see on that particular front. But I think for now, the first thing I want to do is get the window open and... oh, actually, no, the logger. The logger is probably the best thing to start with. Yeah, so I need a logger. And I don't know if I want it to go to a file or like I'll just put it to standard out and then I'll have it redirect to a file. So I'm going to go up here, first thing, logger. And what else? Is there anything else that I should do first? I think that's it. And the logger is going to be something that's probably going to end up getting changed in the future as well, but for now we'll just go with this. I do need to do think about scripting in the future, and I'm going to be using Lua for that. And actually, I'll use LuaJIT specifically, and that's just because it's fast. Everybody knows how to use Lua. If I want something where like theoretically people would actually use this editor, I need to use a scripting language that people are familiar with, or I should use a language that people are familiar with, rather than trying to roll my own thing. At that point, I just need to supply it with my API and make sure to like limit the things that it interacts with. But apart from that, like everything else is, I think Lua will work. I'm rambling. Okay. I guess we get started. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and have here int init or app new void app delete. So this is in the header file, and this is going to take pointer. So take an out pointer as well. I already know the name, but I'm going to go and just have it say does that. Okay. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. I'm not going to bother copying. I can't copy yet. Okay. So here, sure that's there. It's going to just start by returning success. I need to make sure I go to defines and include some top level stuff here. So, that should not be defines. Okay. First things first, I need a result enum. It's just going to store all the various return codes. So success will be 0, and everything else will be some form of non-zero number. So things like memory errors, null errors. What else? Yeah, okay. Why is that not connected? Hold on. Okay, sorry. For whatever reason, the chat wasn't connected. So yeah, okay. All right. How am I doing? I'm doing okay. Just trying to get back onto the horse, so to speak. Okay, we need IO errors. There's going to be a bunch of other stuff, but for now, I'll stick with this. I think that should be sufficient. How do I do this? I guess part of the question, I suppose, is do I want to rely on extensions or do I want to rely? Probably not. Let's not do that. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and include standard int, but I'm going to go ahead and do some redefinitions. So type def, and then I think the most important one is going to be, let's see, is it? I always forget the order for type def. Let's see, type def. Yeah, okay, so it's, you put the thing you're defining it as after. So we want uint pointer, and that's going to be defined as usize. Int pointer is going to be isize. It's going to be like the two most common things that I'm using for integer related stuff. And I'm not going to bother. Oh, that should be underscore t. Yeah, I'm just defining these because this is rather long and cumbersome to type out. This is much faster to type out. So that's really it. And while here, we'll just go ahead and do a bunch of others. So type div i8. It's going to be 8 underscore t. Oh, wrong way around. It's out of order. Okay, 64, and that's probably all that we're going to need for that. At some point I should just set it up so I can just have this be a part of like the initial project setup. Because all of this is stuff that could be easily boilerplate. Okay, let's go to app dot, I guess app.c, app.h. Let me make some definition stuff. Okay. All right. Let's see. So for now, I'll say char buffer, and we'll give it like 256. Call it buffer. And call that name. So it's going to be the application name. And yeah, we'll just go with that. It's only going to be the one instance of app, so it doesn't need to be. Actually, if it's the one instance, couldn't I just put that into. I could just put this into a static global. I think I might actually do that because there's really no need to include multiple app structures. This isn't going to be a library or anything, so yeah, let's do that. Okay. Oh, shoot. Let's go ahead and we'll just go ahead and do that. Go here and get this. There. And actually, I should probably go ahead and let's call this shut down and start up. Okay. Let's go to .c. Great. Okay. That's unfortunate. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just go ahead and do this. Most of that was just kind of like me rambling and thinking. Okay. So we got. Yeah, it would be. I think that'd be easier and more sensible. So we'll say it's a. Is it actually easier and more sensible though? Yeah, I don't think it is. Okay, static, and then we need a couple things. So char name. But then that's not okay. Yeah, never mind. Dang it, keep going back and forth. Okay, so this is going to be a part of the structure. App, and then we'll declare an application structure. Okay. And then let's put here window renderer scripting engine. What else? UI. Maybe job system as well, maybe. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so static app, and we'll say it's equal to 0 just to make sure it's initialized. Okay, let me get it somewhere. Comp and copy, and we're going to say app name. I think it's 256 if I'm not mistaken. I always forget. So stir and copy. Let's just make sure I'm getting the correct. Okay, number of characters copied. Range will be padded with null. Okay, copy the first 5 characters. Okay, yeah, so I want to make sure to not do the full number, but 1 minus that. So that we put... Is that going to actually put something at the end? Okay, well, everything's going to be 0, so it should already be null terminated. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. Make sure to include so string.h. We need defines.h. And this is more for the sake of sanity than anything, but I'm going to go ahead and put in an assert here. So assert name must be non. So this is just going to actually, is that could that be static? Hold on. Are attributes a thing in standard C? Okay, they are. Let's see, what do we got here? Fall through, unused. Choose a warning. Okay. So I can't guarantee that non-null is going to exist as a what you call it. I can't guarantee that it'll exist. So I'm going to make sure to have an assert at the top that will make sure that we don't accidentally get a null there. It should never happen, but strange things happen sometimes when you're doing things weirdly. Okay, we've got... There's nothing that needs to be shut down yet, so we won't have to do anything there. I'm going to change the names to startup. Shut down. Okay. So first things first. Oh, logger. I need to define a logger. Just remember that. Okay, so we'll do that thing first. Because this is all we really need. Right. Okay. So we'll go to main real quick. Main.c. Exclude app.h. Get rid of this little bit here. And we'll say app start up. That's going to need a name. We'll give it that, and then shut down. This is going to take result. Actually, I need to make sure to specify. Yeah, I need to put defines in that header. So, hold on. Quickly fix fix that. So I don't really need that. I'll do it this way. Does not equal success. Turn 1. Otherwise, return 0. Okay. I'm also going to have something like app run, probably. Also put that into... actually, you know what? It's going to be the perfect time to define a macro. So I'm going to go first to defines.h here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and make this something that's an actual type. Normally, you don't need to do this, but I want to make sure that things that can go in there are limited. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and define try, and I guess we'll just call it a function, maybe. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think we'll do it like this. Okay, so result equals function. And then if it's not equal success, return result. There. So all that's going to do is make it so we don't need that boilerplate of actually, you know what? I'm just going to assume that result exists. Because that allows me to do it like this. And that way I don't have to make a new yeah, we'll do it this way. All right. So result is just going to be defined in here. Okay. Here, I'm going to replace this with try. That'll make things a bit faster and easier. All right. Go to app.h, include defines here, specify that this is going to return result. Quick, let me make sure that make sure that's there. Get rid of this. Don't need it. Okay. App startup is going to return results. Okay, cool. So is it possible for string and copy? Yes, it doesn't look like it's possible for stir and copy to return anything, any kind of error. Doesn't look like it. So can stir and copy fail? Okay. Maybe these will help. Okay, so return value turns 0 This is string copy. Yeah, okay. Wait, how does it return 0 on success? Hold on. 1 returns a copy of destination. Okay, yeah. Right, 0. 2. Okay. Okay. So let's see. All right. Okay. So turn 0 on success, turns non-zero on error, also on error, writes 0 to destination. Okay. Looks like that version of string copy can't return an error. That's what it looks like, at least. Okay. All right. I'm getting bogged down. Let's get the logger started. And okay. Def. Actually, there's nothing that I need to store in a structure for this part. Because again, there's only going to be ever one instance of the logger. So I just need to make sure that I suppose I don't even really have to do that. So you can just, I guess I could just make this a series of functions slash macros, I guess, to let the user print stuff. Okay, so let's start with, we'll start writing out functions here. Just make these very simple. Info. Now here, define debug do if and def and debug. Go there, else line. So debug will just be nothing. So that way we can remove it if we need to. Okay. Just make sure doing C periodic macros. Let's see. Okay. Printf. Got it. Okay. Macros invoked. Tokens. Okay. Okay, so it looks like this syntax is not going to be valid. This is going to that, and then I think that'll work. That's valid syntax. Okay. Just take. Actually, I'm going to make some modifications here. So this is going to take a couple things. We need the file name. Func name. Underscore there. Int line. I don't think I need the column for this. I don't think that's going to help. So I definitely need those things. So that's going to help inform me as to where the problem is originating from. Excuse me. Okay, so then we need, oh gosh, is it file? I think that's the correct macro there. And it's function, and then line. Yeah, okay, so it looks like it's just function. Okay. That. Let's go ahead and copy these. Okay. So this is going to just go ahead and printf message. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple things here. So first off, needs to specify fatal. Yeah, okay. So these are pretty simple. And actually, this could be a macro. Yeah, this could definitely be a macro. So I'm going to do that instead of making this a whole function. None of these are really need to have any sort of code behind them. The only one that really needs it is debug. Okay, let's go back to the header real quick. So first off, this needs to include standard io.h. Jeez, I cannot type it. Okay, this is going to be fine. Fatal, and this is just going to contain message printf. I think I can just do this, right? makes things even less. I guess I also got to do this real quick. So, shoot. Yeah, so that's just going to put together at compile time there. And then let's go copy, paste. There. Just get rid of all this real quick. Fix all these. Info. I could also include coloring information, but the main issue there is that it, like if I intend to have this pushed to a file, like piped into a file, then that's just going to make that more difficult. And so I'm not going to color it. Okay. Error, warn, and info. Okay. So we can water.c. Okay, so first things first, I need to buffer. I was going to say that's 1024 characters. And need to specify that. Okay, so it's s printf and buffer got debug, and then the file is going to be here. The function is going to be right there. And then the line number, yeah, it's going to be right there. Put in that. Okay. So let's also do, yeah, just to be safe, we'll do sn printf. I just need to look up sn printf. Just make sure I'm not getting this wrong. Okay, yeah, string size format. Got it. Okay, so that goes back here. Let's make sure it's 1023. I think is the correct number because you got to offset it by 1. Okay. What is it? VA start. Hold on. CD args. Make sure I got this right. Okay, so we need std arg. This is going to take VA list args, start, args, and message. Okay. And then VS and F. Okay. So it's going to be buffer. That's correct. And then we want that. How do I do this? think I might have to do this the other way around. Yeah, okay. All right, so this here, let's go like this. Let's put that at the bottom. It's going to be printf. Get rid of this here. And put... Okay. It's going to take a buffer. All right. We've got that. I need to... So message goes there. And I think args goes there. Just make sure I'm getting this right. Okay, so yeah, that takes args, so we'll do VA, and I think that's just takes args, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, okay. Cool. So, it's there, and then okay, so VS and printf. All right. Okay. This should work. Just put that there. Okay. So. Go ahead and real quick, I'm going to change this to printf and make sure to specify this goes into standard error, just so that it's doing this stuff correctly. Okay. Okay, and then that's there. So let's test this out. All right. Go to app.c. Include logger.h. During startup, we'll say info. Let's see. Started. I should put that at the bottom. Info. Started. And that's also going to debug. And down here, we'll say shut down. Okay. And let's see. All right. Let's just run. Just be app. have app run yet. So let's go define run. Shoot. Screwing this up. Okay. All right. This is the return result. App run. And we'll just say that it returns success. We'll just define it up here real quick. Nope. We'll just go to here. Success. Okay. Let's say here. Successfully. Nice. Okay. So that's step one. Source app.c, sorry, app.c, startup. Should probably put in those open close brackets and then just to make it look pretty. And I'm going to remove this. Okay. So now we're reporting which line, and actually if I go app.c, yeah, it's at line 17. Perfect. So that debug function is going to act as both the trace and the debug. So like if I just don't include any sort of like any sort of variables or anything, it'll just basically be a trace. And otherwise, like if I want to add in variables, I can report those too. So that should work fine. Okay. Already reaching the end of the hour. I don't really have a whole lot more I can do in such a short amount of time. Let's go ahead and go to the make file real quick. Define LD flags, because we're going to have to load a bunch of different libraries. I need GLFW, need LGL, LGLW. Is there anything else? I guess Luajit, but I'm gonna have to work with that. Yeah, I don't want to load that just yet. Yeah, not yet. Okay. Okay. Let's go and just go through. We'll just make sure all these use those libraries. So, debug should include LD flags. I don't know if I necessarily need them here for compiling. I probably don't actually now that I think about it, but you know what? We'll just leave those there. Okay, release LD flags. Okay, and just to test it, let's go ahead and make a window.h, window.c. Actually, no, not going to do that yet. All right, let me just go to let's see. We'll go in here. So it's gleft W. H. I think that's correct. Okay. Just gonna go ahead, go in here, and actually we'll test gleft W init, init, and then gleft W init. If that works, then good to go. Hold on. Just go here real quick. Tab. Okay, I'm supposed to do. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Just make sure to include is it gleft W3. Okay. Such fun. Hold on. Let me here. Okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, I didn't even notice this part. Probably should have. But yeah, okay. So we've got a got the window library loading properly. And I think that's everything I need. So, yeah, we're at the end of the hour here, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'll be back probably tomorrow, maybe. It might depend, because I might end up being a little bit too busy, but I don't know. We'll see. So, have a nice day.